Gratitude, day 4. I'm going to really take a chance today. And my wife and Laura may accuse me of preaching today. So I'm warning you before I begin. Gratitude. Let me give you some strategies to improve the quality of gratitude. Every day, do that 4th goal. Write down something you're grateful for. Every single day, beginning today, or beginning this week, write down something you're grateful for. The food you eat, the clothes you wear, the school you go to, the job you have, whatever it is, you have to be grateful for something. Just write it down. See if it doesn't make a difference. Number 2, put 10 things on your bathroom mirror to look at each morning that you're grateful for. Coach, I don't have 10 things. Okay, write down 3. And then tomorrow, add the 4th one and the 5th one. And eventually you're going to get 10. And you look at those 10 things every day before you go to work. I've told this story 1,000 times. Zig Ziglar's in Atlanta speaking. The lady said that she's going to commit suicide. She has got to talk to Zig. Zig told her he had 10 minutes. She goes in and she said, I have the worst job in America. Zig said, ma'am, I only got 10 minutes. So let's do this. Let's write down 10 things you're the happiest for in having your job. That's easy. There ain't one. Zig said, you don't get paid? Oh, yeah, I get a good salary. That's it. You don't have any health benefits? Yeah, we have the best health benefits in the city of Atlanta. Write that down. Well, it didn't take Zig 10 minutes to get 10 things written down. About 2 or 3 months later, Zig gets a letter from this lady, and she tells him how all the people at work have changed. You can't believe how they have changed. They didn't change. She read those 10 things every day. She went to work happy. A principal I know at a middle school taught this curriculum, but she made every teacher the most vicious, notorious place on this earth is the teacher's lounge. She made every teacher write a Post-it note, a ticket to get into the teacher's lounge. You had to write down something you were grateful for. So when they went to the teacher's lounge, they had to stop, put on a Post-it note what they were grateful for. So they walked in with what? Feeling happy and feeling positive. The coach I know had every assistant coach and every player put a memento of the best day of their life. You know, one assistant coach put the picture of his wife and baby the day his son was born. But the kids all had to put something. The day in the Little League that they were named All-Star. It had to be something that they put on the inside of their locker. Man, some days are bad days. And you come down and you open that locker, and what's the first thing you see? A picture of the best day of your life. What changes? Your feelings change because you remember how you felt that day. And all of a sudden, you're not as down the dumps. Write a thank you note. I mentioned that yesterday. Write a thank you note once or at least once a week. You'll get more out of it than any teacher. We always, when I was coaching football, use this analogy again. We always met on the weekend and wrote down 3 things that we had to get done that week in order to win the ball game. Not 50, not 28, not 34. 3 things. And we would narrow it down to those 3 things. And then when the playoffs got there, we wrote down the 10 things that we were grateful for being in the playoffs. And we got it from David Letterman. And we always had the best time with that on Sunday, writing them down, because one first week of the playoffs, we'd say, if we win this playoff game, Margaret Ann will notice you. And then the second week, we'd say, Margaret Ann's best friend will notice you. And in the third week, we'd say, Margaret Ann's big sister will notice you. You get the point. We found some good things that were comical that made them laugh a little bit and made them feel good about, here's the 10 things. One time it was, you'll be the first team from this school to ever go this far. You'll be a legend. And we made them sit down and think about what it was they needed to be grateful for. A teacher, Charlie Abshalay was his name in North Carolina, every day when he called the roll, he had every student, while he was calling roll, write down something good about somebody in class. They couldn't write down anything about the way they were dressed or how they looked. But they wrote down something good, turned it in, and at the end of the roll call, he'd read a couple of them. He said every day the class started off in a positive manner. There's a man in California that you could not get into his classroom without shaking his hand, giving him a fist bump, or giving him a high five, looking him in the eye, and saying good morning. What are you grateful for? Each one of them. At the team lock-in at the end of summer camp, before we started the football season, we passed a piece of paper around, and each piece of paper had a different player's name on it. And when the paper came to you, you had to write down something positive about him. So by the time it got around, there'd be 45 positive things. Some of them were repeated, but there'd be 45 positive things. A little bit silly? Sure, that's goofy. In football, you just coach football. You don't write down good. That's silly. Well, about 15 years ago, ex-player showed me, pulled it out of his billfold, a sheet of paper, folded up, crinkled up, almost non-existent. You couldn't hardly read it. He still had on that sheet of paper the 43 things that were said about him, good things. And he said, every time I start feeling down the dumps, Coach, I pull this out and read it. Make a difference. The difference maker is gratitude. You want to be the best you can be grateful. And if you got to work at it to do it, then work at it. Figure out, write it down, write the notes, do the things necessary to become a grateful person. Develop gratitude, and you'll develop you into the best you that you can be.